Hey YouTube, this is John with Lock TCG. Welcome back to the Vault. Today we actually have our locals gameplay from our last week's locals over at Koalaty Games. Today is the final round with Xavier playing Trunks, playing Super Saiyan God Trunks, where we had another new player to the store. His name was Chris, if I'm not mistaken. He's playing King Cold. Today on the call I have Xavier and Joe, and Xavier, if I am wrong, is his name Chris?
I
His
I'm
name is
pretty
Chris.
sure.
His name is Chris.
Yeah.
Okay, but so Xavier, we ended up going 4 rounds that night. We actually, if you paid attention, if you tuned in the last video, we did spoil that we actually maxed out our locals for the first time last week. So we had a full 4 rounds with 16 players. Played until one undefeated, and Xavier just happened to be the undefeated. So Xavier, how'd you enjoy last week?
I enjoyed it pretty well. I mean, the I've been playing Trump Xeno since like a little, of course, since it came out, and a little bit before while playing on Untapped. Really like the flow of the deck. It's just so it's just so oddly consistent if you make the right ratios for Saiyans, but like your biggest issue, I think, my biggest issue while playing it is always seeing that turn to unison. And I didn't have that issue all night that night, so that's what kind of happened.
That's good. I mean, I would see, and that's the thing is because I know you've been playing this deck for a while, and of course, it's not the first time you've won ever locals, but with Super Saiyan God Trunks, it definitely is. I know last week, now speaking on this pen, you play King Cold yourself. So, like, how did you expect the matchup to go? Like, without spoiling the end of the match, how did you expect the match to go before going into it?
So, I know with King Cole, the big issue with it was seeing the right field at the right time. So with King Cold, you're guaranteed almost, as long as you're getting the field, you're guaranteed that turn 2 awakening with unison play. Uh, you get that, you get your life down to 4. You get all these triggers, and then you awaken untap 2. Like there's a whole bunch of things that go off on turn 2 to turn 2 plus.
Mm-hmm.
And like I really enjoy the deck. So, but yeah, it's really just you need to see certain fields at certain times. You also need to make sure your berry blues are nearby somewhere, in case the field you did play earlier is not is the one you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, and I was gonna say too. Now just to stand her off on this, there were actually 2 King Cold decks on this night. We had Chris with his, and then we also had Puna was running his, who was also new to the store, was running his take on King Cold. And they actually ended up duking it out in the round 3 at table 1. Unfortunately, that video didn't record, so unfortunately I did not get to post that one. But that matchup was even not surprising. I was just like, well, King Cold's gonna win, but I wonder which one. I was just surprised to see both King Cold decks actually make it through to round 3 going undefeated. Now, Joe, this pertains to you. Since there were 2 King Cold decks at the tournament, did you ever either see or play against either one of them?
Yes, I did play. Man, I just said what his name was, and I forgot what his name was.
Chris?
Chris. Yeah.
Chris.
I played against Chris round 2, I think. I played against Chris round 2. I never played against King Cold before, and yeah, it was definitely interesting for me at least to play because I've never played against it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was playing Green Beerus, as you know, I've nicely said in all videos. It's still not very good, but that's what I've been playing for the last 2 weeks. But against this, the matchup wasn't actually too bad, surprisingly. The only thing that sucked really bad was he did what was it, Heron's Lineage, the one you discard, you take your opponent's card.
Mm-hmm.
Secret Rare. He did that to me when I had my my 3-drop double striker with that crits when there's nothing in the battlefield. So he took that. I had nothing in my battlefield, so he swung, and he was gonna crit 2 life with double strike. So I had to drop things out of my hand. So it just became a it became very poor for my situation, for him doing that, and it just kind of went downhill from there because he still he had that for a while, and then he was just still going on with his turns and playing and just getting rid of my stuff slowly, and he eventually won.
Okay.
But yeah, otherwise I think it's pretty alright deck. I think last week we probably had the most diversity aside from the 2 King Colds, right? Oh wait, no, and there was 2 Universe 7s.
Oh no, there was only 1 Universe 7.
It was you and the other guy playing it.
Oh no, I was playing Invoker.
Oh, okay, never mind. Just 1 Universe 7 then.
So
But yeah, else it was pretty diverse, I think too.
No, we did have a second U7 player.
No. So yeah, we did have one. It was Charlie was playing.
Yeah.
He was playing a skillless variant of U7, of the new Red Goku. But there, you said there's another one, Xavier?
Yeah, there was another one. I know that we were playing. We had two. We had a King Piccolo, 2 Trunks Vitas. I'm very sure we had 2 U7s. I think it was Donovan who was running that other one.
Oh,
Donovan was playing U7.
so Donovan was,
Yeah.
and Donovan was another new player because we had not a
Right.
lot of new players last week. Like Jesus.
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
great having all those people.
Well, I mean, look at the video where I am right now because my video's been lagging a little bit. But
Yeah,
right-
mine is falling behind too.
I mean, where we are in the video, it looks like Xavier, you have a good amount of your warp. You have the Kai Unison on the field. Plus, Chris seems to be pushing his field with the Unison and his field, like his bodies and field spells. How did you feel at this point of the game?
So, like, it was pretty much in my head. It was pretty good on my end because I was still at like 6 or 7 life at that point. Like he had only knocked me down 1 all game so far, and I was pretty easy. Like I had my warp ready, or already pretty full. My hand, as you can see, was growing pretty quickly. I didn't think I'd have much of an issue because his biggest thing is, in my opinion, is the double striking field, which he didn't seem to get right away. And his one field barely touches me because I don't really run too many small boys, especially late game.
Okay. I know, because I was going to say, too, because I think, because Joe, did you play Charlie round 1 or round 2? Not Charlie,
Not
Chris.
Charlie, Chris. Chris, I played round 2.
Because I think I played Chris round 1, and I was playing against this, and I'm like, okay, I'm playing Invoker, let's see how it goes. But what ended up just happening was, he kept getting swing after swing after swing after swing after swing in, and I was playing the new variant of Invoker with the Android 17s. What I failed to realize was that the promo 17 goes until the end of my next turn. I thought it was just till the end of my opponent's turn. So I was playing the card wrong the entire time and getting absolutely dumpstered by the fact that I could have removed I could have done more during my turn without having to try and get a 17 off, because I had like Tyranny's costs and stuff like that, to where then I would where I would have been able to draw more cards, have more hand advantage, and possibly get more topos, because 4 topos in that deck feel amazing.
You would feel that way, wouldn't you?
I would what?
You would feel that way.
Oh, absolutely. See, now in the part of the video I am at, it looks like he has this like surprise attack Frieza and Paragus and such at you right now.
Don't think I'm anywhere near that. I'm sorry, the video just keeps lagging.
Yeah.
I'm at 6 minutes and 47.
We are at 9 minutes, like 10 minutes, 10 minute marker.
Nowhere near there.
So essentially, it looks like he's pushing you a fair amount, but somehow you're able to keep your life really high.
So the big one was like he did the surprise attack Frieza off of his field, which failed my blocker. No, it was my Goku.
Yeah.
And he attempted to swing with it, but I immediately warped it with the Shadow Ball extra that plays for free.
Mm-hmm.
So like his attack power isn't really that high, and I made sure to also remove his Unison, like right away. I was not letting him keep that on board.
Oh yeah, because that's the one thing I always wonder in when I play is it always good to go for King Cold matches? Do you always want to go after that Unison? Yes or no? Or
Yes,
should you?
because the biggest thing with that Unison is that it lets him play fields for free, and if you don't, and if it's too high, that -3 can 100% kill you because it gives him like almost over 30k buff and triple strike
Mm-hmm.
if he has enough fields on board. So if you're just sitting there going, okay, no negate, no negate, no negate, and then he swings with the Unison, you say no negate, and he goes, okay, -3, you're probably going to die right there.
Mm-hmm.
So that Unison is a big remove, like you need to get rid of. Also, on top of that, that cuts down his chances to play free play counters, which the deck is very much in love with. Like with the dormant, you definitely don't want to see dormant running around. You don't want to see a charismatic villain out of nowhere when you're playing your boss with no barrier.
Mm-hmm.
And it just doesn't feel good. So just getting rid of the Unison as fast as you possibly can really extends your chances of winning.
See, and I think what was funny was right when you mentioned, oh, and you don't want to run into Dormant, he actually played a Dormant, but he had to pay 1 energy, which is like a feels bad man.
Yeah, exactly. Like you want him to spend that energy on playing that Dormant. If he's tapped out and you've already removed his Unison, all he can do is watch you smack him unless he has the other free play extra for King Cold specific.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say too, cause like if you look at the meta, not making metas of representation, I think King Cold is still currently the most represented green deck right now, correct?
Correct, because it's still very strong. The only big issue with it is it's very RNG based. There's not a lot you can do if you do not draw. Like if you don't draw a single field turn 1 or 2, it just feels bad and you need to go home.
I was gonna say you're just left there sitting there like, well, that's all I do. But like there was like so much stuff where it's like, oh, play a field, draw a card. This field lets you draw a card, draw a card, draw a card. I feel like when I was playing against him, he filled up his hand so easily, and I'm just sitting here like, well, I can do an activate battle, because,
Exactly.
and it surprises me because with so much hand consistency, you think it would be able to do so much more, but in reality, the King Cold deck all it has is the buff to this leader, it has the Unison, and then I think it's like that Frieza, right? The boss Frieza.
So it has the boss Frieza, the field wiping Frieza, the coolers, and if you do run them, the King Cold negates, which are like mini topos.
Yeah, I think he plays that in his variant too, because he played it against me.
Yeah, because like even as a mini topo with that, like a 1-drop King Cold that makes it so when your opponent, you don't have to discard for it. That's what's amazing. You don't have to discard, but your opponent only discards 1 card for each swing, which still is amazing, especially if you have if you're packing 3 of those bad boys in your hand.
I get you.
And then it's just like if they're going for their kill turn, they have to get negated 3 times, and still each swing they're increasingly using cards in their hand. At some point they're gonna stop, and you're gonna get your turn, and you can possibly kill them.
Yeah, I get you. And looking here, it looks like he's just trying to replay his Unison to try and get that advantage with the Unison in play again.
He did, in fact, replay his Unison, but he did it for a completely different reason, and it kind of shocked me a bit.
Well, it looks like he's swinging. Is he gonna swing into the battle?
He busted up to 4 markers, and he went in for that -3. And I was just too high of a life to do anything good.
Because that's
That
what
was what was so fun about it.
well, that's what I was gonna say was he hit you for that three, and what put you down to three? Was that really necessary for him?
He was trying to knock me down fast because his life, if you notice, his life is at 2.
Uh huh.
He knew that an extended battle with me would probably not go very well in his favor. So he was, if I'm at 6 life and he's at 2, and I play big boys that just keep warping everything.
And then here he goes playing Super Saiyan 4 Bardock.
Yes, sir.
And he's gonna try and swing again. You countered it, then you're gonna block her, I'm assuming. So Joe, playing against another green deck, how does have you learned anything from playing against King Cold or no? Like something to reflect
I
into
learned that
your
beer
own green decks?
sucks.
So
No, but yeah, like I learned how the other decks play and how fast they play, and I feel like compared to Beerus, I feel like they're just they're better tuned. Like they have enough support in which they can play to how they were made to play. In this case, he's playing around his field spells, but he's still looping because he still kind of loops your hand, but he also still kind of like controls you a little bit more. Beerus, the way he is supposed to play, he's also supposed to play as more controlling, but also more aggro is how he was meant to play, like as in more early game aggro, because you cheat out the 2-drop, then when your opponent goes to kill the 2-drop, you pay 1, and you cheat out the 3-drop after they kill the 2-drop. That's how it's supposed to be played. Does that happen? No, not really. Well, yes, it does happen. But then after turn 2, you're kind of just sitting there with your hands open, like, okay, what do I do now? And all you can really do is hope then that you can either after they clear out that 2-drop, and maybe if they clear out your 3-drop, you can cheat out another 2-drop. You're at 3 mana, you can't really do too much. 4 mana, you can at least maybe use 2 of it, and then put out a Demigra, or you can put, if you have a 2 and a 3-drop out, or even the 5-drop Demigra, you can put out the Zamasu, which lets you cheat it out. But yeah, at that point you're playing off cards to let yourself be aggressive.
I got you.
I think the deck just needs something that lets you kind of explode a little bit more on turn 3 and 4, or at least something late game that you can work towards. Because late game it doesn't really feel like there's anything. I know the champ packs have those planetary manipulations. I think that's what they are.
Yeah.
I just got a set of those. It's a nice one drop to negate an attack, but it's permanent. The fact that it costs 4 and you need to have some cards under Nameless Planet when your opponents don't necessarily have to put stuff out just makes it too rough to play.
I think if they added another card to the deck that lets you play or forces your opponents to play battle cards from their hands, it would make it much better because you only are able to rely on an announcer at this point. And
well, no, you can do announcer, and then you can also do. There's another card that I
oh look,
play,
fancy chunks.
There's another way to do it, and you could do that, or you can do. I think honestly they just need more aggression. I think they need more board presence. I think that would actually make it a little bit better, in my opinion. Or just some way to, like you said, loop your opponent's hand a little bit more. Maybe not so much so putting stuff on the board, because some of the stuff you grab at your opponent's hand, your little guy can't get over.
Yeah.
And it feels bad. But yeah, that's my personal opinion.
And see, here's one thing, and not to sidetrack from you, but speaking of the Demigra, Xavier just played his own Demigra to get rid of that blocker, which is really good too. And there he goes doing the cooler. Is that the Topo S card? Xavier?
I think we lost him.
Nice. He'll come back. I think he's just having connection issues right now. But it looks like he played the Topo S card. Another thing I was gonna say too was Xavier. I mean, the way I've seen it is that Trunks, the new like SPR he has in the field, which is an SR2. I need to get myself a set of SPRs because it's just too good. If so, I don't know if you're ever gonna try out Black Joe, but right now, if you play a black deck that either warps or overwhelms a lot, and like the theme's overwhelming, that Trunks is a monumentally good card and necessary card. In Gogeta, I was playtesting 2 of it. I loved it at 2, and it made me want to bump it up to 4. And like as you can see, Xavier's comboing out here for his game. But outside of that, it's a great card because it lets you play it for 2 energy from your warp. And then when it swings, it has dual techno. Every time it swings, you get to put 3 cards from your warp back into your drop. So refueling your drop area essentially.
Okay.
But it's like, if you ever decide to play black, that's what I was just trying to say, was like it's a great card. I know in some recent DBS Fest events it had Trunks Vegeta, not Trunks Vegeta, Super Saiyan God Trunks hasn't been as like presence. It has been in some top standings, but it still is a great card. It looks like he's trying to combo out of this. If Xavier was still in the call, I would be asking him how much he comboed up to, because I'm not able to tell. But it does seem like he may have comboed out. I can't tell. I think he's trying to check the combo power right now, because he did 2 Paragons, but I think Xavier put almost his entire hand down to do this, plus 2 super combos.
I think Xavier just joined back.
Xavier?
Hello.
Oh, welcome back. We were wondering where you went.
I've been here the whole time. It just wouldn't talk for some reason.
Oh, I got you. But Xavier, to answer my question, this was like your game swing, right? How much did you combo up to?
I comboed up to 95.
95. See, and that's what I was gonna say. Like, it's hard enough to get up to 55k in most decks, but like I think in like King Cold, he definitely struggled getting up to that. I remember like way back in set 2 doing like a 9. I did a 100k swing with the Vegeta repeated force for Vegito that got himself up there. It was just so fun.
That whole situation, he was attempting to combo out. He did recognize it.
You cut out a little bit. You said he didn't recognize what? Oh, I think he disappeared again. Oh, there. Well, he got the. Oh, there you are. So what were you saying? He didn't recognize to what?
No, so like I recognized that he probably could have comboed up to 95 or to 100 if he had drawn one more super combo. But the biggest issue with that was I also still have my Unison swing.
I was gonna say too, he would have lost his whole hand, and you could, because you still had your hand too to just do another combo, right?
I still had in my hand to combo with. That was what I was holding off on.
Yep. And so essentially, he would have only been left probably with 1 card for combo cost, and you still would have been able to outdo it. But
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, despite the technical difficulties, as you can see, Xavier did end up taking the W for our locals last week at Koalaty Games. Super Saiyan God Trunks ended up taking the win. We had plenty of people show up to the tournament that week. It was so great to see new faces and diversity with the decks being played. If you are in the Chicago area and want Thursday locals to come stop by, get in some friendly games, come check out Koalaty Games and come and check us out. We will be recording again this Thursday for the final 2 rounds, and we are also increasing the cap from 16 players to 24 players. So definitely there'll be room. Of course, this is John from Lock TCG signing off. Xavier, Joe, if you would like to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Peace out.